time has come to talk about where this channel came from, why I make these videos, and have a look at the future possibilities of this channel. The year was 2016, and I had bought this Sony camera second hand. This had come out a few years earlier. It's a Sony QX10 camera module. It's designed to attach to your smartphone, and when you run the app, it connects over Wi-Fi to the camera module, and this gives you the features and quality of a larger camera right on your phone. Sony was not the only manufacturer to make one of these cameras, but they were the most well known. By 2016, smartphone cameras had been advancing each year, and the form factor of this camera, which had been mildly popular for about a year or two, was very quickly becoming obsolete. Despite this, I was still really happy to pick this up. It was not expensive, and I love unusual, interesting tech designs, combined with highly portable devices. Using this, I found it to be a bit cumbersome, but a lot of fun. Also at this time, I was really enjoying YouTube. There were some amazing channels. Techmoan was showing things I'd never even seen before, gadgets and technologies that I didn't even know existed, and I really wanted to see more. I was also digging deeper into YouTube and finding channels like Mike's Electric Stuff. I really love seeing how things work on the inside. And he kept showing these deep explorations into really interesting tech. I couldn't get enough of all these amazing YouTube channels I was finding. And I wanted to see more, especially of the things that I really like doing, such as with really old phones or weird Japanese devices. Those were the videos I really wanted to see, but for the most part they didn't seem to exist. So I thought, well, I could do this. I can make the videos that I want to see. So I then spent an entire year not doing this. Oh sure, I was taking photos, I was recording clips, and I was still exploring tech as I've always done, and I was watching lots of YouTube. I was doing everything, except for making my first YouTube video. And then I started to get sick. It started happening slowly at first, but then I started to get really bad. So I went to see my doctor, and he ran some tests, and he told me to go straight to the hospital like my life depended on it. This was the week before Christmas, 2017. I had severe appendicitis, and I was getting worse by the hour. Thank you, Dr. Keith, for helping me. I remember thinking, if I survive this, I'm going to live my life with my heart and my soul. Let my camera go. After a week in hospital and several weeks at home recovering, I recorded this. It's my Sony Rolly, recorded using my Sony QX10 camera. I then realized I could separate the camera module from the phone. I could then have the camera close to me and talk into the microphone at the top. I then realized I could put the phone in front of me, just out of view of the camera, to monitor what I was recording. I also made a video explaining how Rolly works. And then during Easter 2018, I released these 2 further Rolly videos. This channel had finally been born, and fittingly, it began with an egg. The next year was a lot of fun, making videos about all sorts of gadgets, fixing and doing experiments, and every video was a fun adventure. The second year was even better. I was collecting all sorts of interesting devices for exploring and modding, and by the end of that second year, I had 284 subscribers. But I had a problem. I was struggling more and more to get good images of these LCD screens. I was having all sorts of brightness and exposure problems, and it was getting really frustrating. This Ericsson GH337, for example. At the time I was using cheap fixed USB lights. They were not very flexible and they couldn't be dimmed. So I did what I had to do. I bought some high quality LED strips with the kind of LEDs on them that you would find in professional lighting gear. And I built myself some new lights by sticking strips of LEDs onto aluminium and then using cardboard and tape to build the lights. I bought some 12 volt and some 24 volt dimmers, found some old laptop power supplies and wired everything up. I also bought some wood panels and set up a whole new desk. And finally, I bought a new camera. The age of the QX10 had come to an end. The first photo I took on my new setup was of my Rolly, and it was beautiful. Unfortunately, by this time, my Rolly had broken. In fact, I had two Rollies, and both were on their last wheels. So with my new desk and my new lights, I set about fixing them. After a lot of testing, I found the exact gear that was broken, and came up with a method to fix it. This was the first video on my new desk, and like before, Rolly had been with me as I began a new era. I could start filming aspects that were difficult to see under the old lights, but more importantly, I could capture how beautiful these devices really looked. For example, the Palm 5 LCD looks amazing in real life, but it's so hard to capture this on camera. With my new setup, I could finally begin my Palm video series. I made a heap of videos about the Fujitsu phone that ran desktop Windows 7, a Nokia 3310 firmware patching and modding. You could actually see the screen, and lots of other types of videos followed. Attention was growing on the channel. I admit I became apprehensive about the growing number of comments on the channel. There had been a few mean-spirited troll comments in the first couple of years. It's not that they really bother me. It's just weird seeing how many people live inside the suffering in their own minds. I was not looking forward to seeing more of that. But then an unexpected thing happened. The troll comments didn't increase. Instead, I started getting more genuine criticism. People were pointing out where I'd made a mistake or where I could improve my videos. It's like you were all really enjoying the channel and wanted to see me get better. And there was certainly a lot of room for improvement. The big one that I was getting a lot of comments about was audio quality. I was often getting distortion or noise or hum, or the music was too loud. I had a lot to learn. If you've suffered through hearing me trying to get better and you're still here, thank you. I still have a lot to learn, but I promise I'll always do my best and keep improving. So where to next for this channel? One of the things I first filmed on my new desk setup was a teardown of my Sony QX10 camera. But then I didn't end up making a video about it, and I've been thinking ever since that would make a good future video. But then when I went back to get some of those shots for this video, I found that most of the main teardown shots had been lost. I do make backups, but somehow those particular files, I just can't find them. Also, sometimes I start making something and then I'm unable to finish it for one reason or another. My intent when I start something is always to finish and release it, but as time passes, things just get lost in the rush. Even though I intend to finish these, some of them go back years, and I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I've decided it's time to experiment a bit more with different formats and different ideas. Maybe make a few shorter videos, or find new creative ways to do things. But that doesn't mean making less in-depth videos. Those are my main motivation, and that's what I live for. I want to see more happening on the channel. I have made a few different things over the years, like a couple of YouTube shorts. But I admit I don't actually browse YouTube shorts myself, which might explain why they don't actually get as many views as my longer videos. That's okay though, because I made them for the fun of doing it, which is really my aim going forward. I want to keep having fun making interesting videos. For example, I recently had a look at this vintage microcassette recorder. It was not nearly enough for a full video, so I made something a bit shorter and hopefully still quite interesting. Let me know what you think. But I also made a new in-depth video on voice recorders, and that one's also available now to watch. These new releases have now taken this channel to over 100 videos, and it feels great to finally reach this milestone. I've got a lot of new things planned, and some of it's already in the pipeline. And I'm always reading the comments because there's a lot of good ideas and suggestions coming from all of you. If you've been watching for a while, then I want to thank you for sticking around. Or if you've just found the channel, then welcome. I hope you find lots of things to enjoy. I'm also really looking forward to seeing what comes next on this channel. I always appreciate your support from either liking or commenting, or directly through Patreon or YouTube memberships. But most importantly, when you're watching and enjoying these videos. But until then, I still have a lot to learn and a lot of work to do. So let's see what's out there.